All right, time for our Argonaut Weekly here at GoArgos.com. Rob Walden along with head men's basketball coach Bob Stinnett. Men's basketball played just once last week. That was on Tuesday afternoon, a 96-78 loss to Montevallo. So the men's basketball club now 7-7 overall after their non-conference schedule has been completed. So, Coach, before we talk about the upcoming conference games and just the pre-conference schedule overall, let's talk a little bit about Montevallo. Hung tough with them for the first 10-15 minutes, but especially in that second half, Montevallo, nationally ranked team, brought their A game.
Yeah, Rob, you're right. You're bringing back bad memories. I thought it was going to be a good game. Mm-hmm. We'd played them earlier in the year, right, and we weren't as well gelled. That was in the month of November. We only won one game. The month of December, we only lost one game. So I was really looking for a very close game, mm-hmm, and I was very disappointed. Lewis was the only one. Mike Lewis was the only one that showed up that actually acted like they wanted to play, and so we've been having like a little Jesus meeting the last few days in practice,
sure,
and getting ready for the conference. But Montevallo, give them credit. They are a good team, well coached. Like you said, 19th in the nation. I think one time they were 9th.
Right.
Lost, dropped to 19th. We opened up in the conference with the number 11 team, I believe. So we're 7-7. I'm not happy with that. I think we should be a little better than that. But we've got a few minor injuries right now too, so I'm a little concerned about going into the opener.
Let's rewind a little bit to the 2010 portion of the schedule before we talk about that Alabama-Huntsville opener on Thursday. You mentioned it yourself, won one game in November, only lost one game in December. We've asked a couple different people what they think the difference is between those 2 months and what really clicked for you guys in December. In your opinion, what was it that really lit a spark for this team in the month of December?
Combination of several things. One, we had 10 new faces, and we were trying to get everybody on the same page, and it was we were learning our pecking order out
sure,
there. Who was going to do what, who was going to do this, who was going to do that, and some of the people we thought were going to do something didn't step up. Some of the people we weren't counting on as much stepped up,
sure,
and them learning me as well as me learning them. And then in December, we'd already had a few games under our belt. So then that turned around. The second thing, too, is a lot of the players we've got received are junior college transfers, so they know how to play. They just had to get used to a different system,
right,
and different organization. And they had to get used to a higher level of competition. And that helped. And I was expecting, and still am expecting, great things for us in our tournament, or our conference, I mean.
Right.
So if we can stay injury-free, and that's a big if, I'm looking forward to us playing in the conference.
One of those junior college guys that you mentioned, Jamar Moore, has played very well for you guys. Had a stretch in December, 5 straight games where he scored over 20 points, and really, other than a couple of tough games at the beginning of the season, has really been a rock for you guys all year long.
Absolutely. Now, at the beginning of the year when we went out to Alaska, he was hurt.
Right.
He turned his ankle pretty bad. He was in a boot before he went out there. He played in Alaska, re-injured the first game, re-injured the second game, re-injured the third game, and still tried to play. And played pretty well, all things considered. Now he's injured again. He's got a little growing injury. And I don't know where that status stands, but if it doesn't get any better, I don't know how much playing time he'll see against Huntsville. And we need him, but we don't need him to try to play injured. So.
You mentioned Huntsville, another nationally ranked team. It seems like the tough opponents just keep coming. But you guys have faced Montevallo a couple times already this season. You know the level of competition that you're going to see on Thursday. Huntsville, a little banged up themselves, missing a big guy in the middle. What are the keys to that game if you guys are going to spring the upset?
Well, first and foremost, we're going to have to. The game's a simple game, Robbie. You got to make stops and you got to make shots.
Sure.
So we got to make stops on their, on our defensive end, and then we got to turn around and make some shots and keep our turnovers to a minimum and keep our rebounding as good as well as them. The thing about Huntsville, they've been together for 2 and 3 and 4 years, and the same group that won it last year is all back. You're right, their center's got a banged up knee or something. Last year, when he was a freshman, their starting center turned their ankle when they came here. He kind of pushed their starter out. So maybe somebody for them will step up.
Sure.
I'm hoping somebody for us will step up if Jamar can't play. But for us to be competitive, we've got to play these great teams better than we did at Montevallo. We just have to. And we need to get where we've got to go. We've got to play these good teams, and we've got to execute and show up and be serious about what we do. Don't take people for granted.
And then win or lose on Thursday, you guys have to turn around not even 48 hours later and play North Alabama. Whether you win or lose on Thursday against Alabama-Huntsville, how tough is it to get the team prepared for a second game in a 3-day span and to either forget about what happened and try to move on from a loss or to not get too excited about a victory?
Point well taken. That is exactly what all coaches have to do. North Al has to do it. We all have to do it. We play Thursday, Saturday. Everybody has to do it. So it's the same thing. But when if you have a great win, you're extremely high and you want to enjoy it. If you have a loss, you're down. And it's something that these kids in college have to learn to overcome. And for the most part, I think most people do, especially at this stage. Early in the year, when everybody's excited, it's hard to do that. But as time progresses, you kind of get used to the schedule. You kind of get used to the progression. And it's like we say in like, enjoy this tonight because we got to get ready to play tomorrow. And everybody kind of knows that. You enjoy it for the moment, then you got to get ready. Or if you lose, then you got to say, let's think about what we did, let's get better, and we got to get ready for tomorrow and get it done. You don't have a lot of time to sit around and gloat.
How excited are you guys to get in front of the home fans and especially the students for the first time this year? A lot's been made about how you guys played the first 9 games away from home, and we've talked about that one a lot. You guys did make it home for a couple of games in December, but the students weren't on campus. No. Now you finally get students in the building, hopefully a packed house and a great atmosphere for both of these games.
You're right. I jokingly say Coach Anderson left town, left me in charge of the schedule. Right. But it was my fault. We played 10 out of our first 11 games on the road. In retrospect, with 10 new faces, I'm not so sure that was all that bad.
Sure.
The traveling was bad, but coming back home and playing in front of our student body and playing in front, I think everybody's excited about that. I know we are, and I know the players are. We just need to have a good crowd come out. And there's nothing like playing at home.
Sure.
And people pulling for you, supporting you. You go on the road. We're road tested. Now we want to be home tested.
Right.
And we need our home crowd out there. This would be a great game. At least I think it would be. I thought Montevallo would be a great game. I was extremely disappointed on the outcome of the way it was. Not that we got beat.
Right.
It's the way we got beat. Now, I don't look for that to happen against Huntsville, but the proof's in the pudding, and we'll have to see.
Should be 2 very good games this week at the UWF Fieldhouse. Doubleheaders both times, Thursday and Saturday. It's Alabama-Huntsville on Thursday. Women's game starts at 5, and the men around 7 o'clock. Saturday, women's game against North Alabama starts at 2, with the men's game starting around 4 o'clock.